Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, March 9th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How are you making out?
I am fantastic, bro. How are you?
I am good, in spite of being snowed in yet again. I was all set to go to work. I was all excited. My first day going back into the office, and didn't it drop a foot of snow on us today?
That sounds awful. I mean, I'm in San Diego. I literally don't know what that's like, but the fact that you've been like stuck in your house for so long and you finally get a chance to like go out and like go to work, that must suck, man. But just stuff it out. Like, you'll get to work soon.
Yes, I am going tomorrow. I went out and actually did some shoveling today with a literally broken leg. I don't care. I'm getting out of here. I went to the grocery store tonight. We're getting it done. But I hear you got like some crazy weather going on there too. Didn't you have some rain?
Dude, it was like madness over here. Like the world was ending. Yes, in San Diego, California, it sprinkled for about an hour. Like I wouldn't even call it rain. Like literally drizzle, like sprinkling for about an hour this morning. And it took me 40 minutes to get to work because all the freeways shut down because people do not know how to drive.
Oh God,
it was madness.
I hope you had some storm supplies. Like, did you get some, some plastic sheeting for the windows and everything you needed, like, to get through? I hope you're okay.
You know what's funny is, like, I'm not even joking when I say this. I went outside with 2 jackets and one of those giant puffer jackets, and an umbrella. Like, I ain't playing. And I go, get to the car and just, I don't know. It took so long to get to work.
I'm not joking either. I had a spring jacket on and I didn't zip it up. Too funny.
Other world, like completely different worlds, That said, I mean, it really brings it to mind, though, the fact that right now, I mean, we are very close to the filming of the LA qualifiers, and I'm only, 2 hours away from LA. Right now, looking at the weather, guys, I mean, it is going to be raining all week in LA. From the estimates I'm seeing, it's supposed to, and this is a big supposed to be, end raining, the night of the city qualifiers, but that's going to be at like midnight to 1 a.m. it's saying on the websites right now. I mean, if it actually does that, it's going to be really tricky seeing those LA qualifiers, like the filming of it. Not to mention, I mean, that's got to be tough for a lot of these athletes.
Well, I mean, they've dealt with that before. Weather is always a factor. They've had ice on the course. I think it was, actually, I don't know where it was. One of the qualifiers before, they've had ice on the course and snow. They had rain last year that was dramatically bad. On the East Coast. So, I mean, they're used to it. It's not great. It's really caused some issues along the way, and we've had some high-profile ninjas slip because of it, so it sucks. We don't want to see that happen. So I hope it doesn't play a big factor, but, I mean, I think they can deal with some sprinkles. I hope, anyway.
I mean, they can deal with some sprinkles, but, it's actually storming over there. I mean, as I said, though, I mean, I don't know if it'll be a big factor, as you alluded to, just because it should end raining that night. It just depends how long they're going to hold back the filming for it. Because if I remember correctly, like, filming usually starts at like 9 or 10 p.m., right? And then it goes like deep into the morning the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have to start at 1:30 a.m., it's going to be really tough for a lot of those later athletes, not to mention, like, what about the walk-ons that we were talking about, right, Rich? Like,
yeah,
do they even have a chance now of getting on to the thing? I have no idea.
They'll just let them run in the rain. They can test it out while it's wet. I mean, they won't care. The walk-ons get, like, the last.
Yeah, good point. They should go first, like, hey, just, if you want it, go, right?
Yeah, good luck to you. But no, that's a good point. And I wonder, like, with this indoor course that they're going to be running in Tacoma this year, if that's a testing ground, because, I mean, they've got to get out of the weather. They've got to stop making that a factor. I don't think it's good all around for the show, for the ninjas. I'd love to see them get it to be indoors and still have that same vibe. Like, we don't want it to lose that quality that we expect, but I'd just like to be able to control for those factors that they can.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic point. That I think is going to be the real big, testing ground. And I really hope it works out because, I mean, I understand the dynamic of outside, being outside, but really when you think about it, an indoor venue, the sound should be a lot better, the lighting should be a lot better, and the course overall, I guess not necessarily the course, but the dynamic in terms of the outside environment, like the weather and elements that you can't usually control, will be a lot more better, well controlled. And at least for LA, I mean, come on, it's literally filmed at Universal Studios. They have a million sound stages. They have the space. You know what I mean? So it's all there. I think, as you said, I mean, that's going to be the big tester, and I really hope it works out.
I mean, for as much as we did not enjoy Ninja Warrior UK, there was no denying that the course, the setup, and everything was fine. There was no difference or feel of it being a cheaper course or any way lacking from a technological perspective. From our view of the course, everything was fine. Like, it really worked well for TV as far as that goes. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue.
Yeah, I agree, man.
But this episode, to get into the heart of what we're actually here to talk about, we are back with ANW Junior, and I am so excited.
Yes. Man, I miss this. I miss this a lot. This was really fun.
Yes, this was a great episode to bring us back, to remind us why it was so great. Lots of great stories. The kids were wonderful. Some close races. I just loved it end to end.
Yeah, and really high level runs. I mean, I remember towards the end of, I guess, the first half of ANW Junior, we had a lot of, competitions that were just mid-tier. It was still fun, but the level of athlete wasn't there as much. And I really don't mean that in a disrespectful way. But this one, I mean, these races were intense. In particular, we're going to talk about in a bit, but those teenagers, man, wow.
Yeah, there was some. I mean, the 9-10 bracket was no joke either, but the teenagers really brought it this episode. So let's go through it. Let's take a look at the 9-10 bracket. First off, we had McKenna Cook versus Julius Hurricane Evans. McKenna, right off the bat, the emotions hit hard. He got a little oh out of me. Because McKenna is being bullied for, beating boys at sports and being a different skin color for her mother. A very, very heartwarming story, touching story anyway. You really felt for her.
Yeah, this one really hit me hard in particular. McKenna, I mean, for those of you that I don't know, I mean, my fiance is half white, half Japanese, but she pretty much looks white. And I'm half black, half Persian, but I kind of just look black. I mean, when I look at this girl, I kind of see our future child in this girl. And kind of like her, my girlfriend or my fiance, basically her main thing is that she always beat all of the boys in all of the sports. And begrudgingly, she beats me at most sports. But in many ways, I just could really see this girl being somebody like my future child. And it really hit me hard. Not to mention the fact that, and the thing that really hit me hard, more than anything else, was the fact that she said she was bullied for not having the same skin color as her mother, which really hit me hard. I mean, that's something that I'm probably going to deal with in my life. And as my nephew, when growing up, he was lighter skinned, and every time I would pick him up from anything, all of the parents would look at me. The teachers would have to go to the side and be like, "Do you know this man?" All that stuff. And I don't mean that. I don't mean to turn that belittle them or say that was wrong to do. But it's just one of those icky factors. So I'm like, come on, guys. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I just, man, something about her story really, really affected me, and I got really emotional listening to that. And yeah, I mean, coming out strong. I hate that was a story to tell, but I'm really glad in the end she was showing the strength to show her story like that, to show that vulnerability.
Yeah, and she was very emotional through it. Like, it was, like you said, it's not the story you want, but at the same time, it draws you in. It's definitely very compelling in a way that we didn't give ANW Junior credit for before we watched it. So if you haven't watched it, it is a full-fledged ninja competition. Don't let the Junior fool you. This is very much ANW first, and a very, very wonderful show that we're very happy to cover.
Yeah, thank you for reminding them again. And once again, shame on me, because I had that mental, I guess, almost discriminatory thing, or prejudice is the best term for it, where I came into this show just expecting just some lame, like, easy peasy course, and really, I mean, I should have known better. So I really respect everything that this show has.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really overlooking the course, although maybe a little bit. To me, I thought the stories wouldn't be as compelling, because how are we supposed to relate to these little kids, right? It's like, oh, the kid's going to have the pet dog or something. I don't know. I didn't give them the respect to have fully interesting, fully developed lives and personal stories that could touch us the way that they have. And it's very, very great show overall, and then the ninjas themselves are wonderful. And a shout out to all the young ANW Junior ninjas that have been commenting on our YouTube videos and sending in comments. I love that you guys are listening.
Yeah, man. I mean, to peel back the wool a little bit, I mean, earlier episodes we were like going back and forth if we even wanted like a YouTube like stream of it, because it's like, well, our main viewership is iTunes and things like that, but it's this thing where young viewers really make a difference on YouTube. And really, YouTube's kind of like our backup stream, right, Rich? But we've gotten a lot of, in terms of like comments and like feedback, YouTube's really where it's at. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But McKenna did unfortunately lose to Julius in this race. Julius got a little bit ahead, and McKenna fell on the second spin cycle. But a good race to start it off, and like I said, the story really carried that one and drew us right back in to where we left off. It really brought us back to ANW Junior as a terrific show.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a fun run, and she gave it her all, and yeah, good on them.
Next up, we had Collin the Course Crusher Cella versus Ben Haywood, who trains with Josh Salinas. But the focus was really on Collin this time, because Collin trains with Drew, dropped all other sports to focus on ninja. And when I heard Drew say that he considers Collin basically like a young version of him, I was like, oh, I want to see this kid run, because Drew would not say that lightly.
Yeah, I perked up a little bit when I heard that. Not to mention, I mean, we got to go back. The Course Crusher. That is a very dope nickname. Yes. But also, you better, like, you can't be like mid-tier with a nickname like that.
Yeah, you wanna really bring it, and he really did. Collin absolutely destroyed this course in a way that makes me wonder who is going to win between him and Sean Arms, who was the one that really drew us in before this. Now I don't think Sean has it on lock. Collin is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. I'm very excited to see really the finals of this, because, when we looked at how many, and I didn't even realize till like halfway, but man, I was like, there are a lot of episodes of this show. Man, by the time we get to the finals, there is going to be some really high tier like runs, man. And I am excited to see that.
Yeah. And to give Ben his due, Ben Haywood was also fantastic. He just got a really bad draw going up against Collin, because Collin was so incredibly fast. Ben couldn't quite keep up, but was fast in his own right for sure.
Yeah. And in a bit, we're going to talk about probably the most unfortunate drawing a kid's ever had in the team rounds, of being like so good, but there's always a number two.
Yeah. Oh, that's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I feel really bad. But we'll get to that one. They fast forward kind of mercifully, I guess. Collin versus McKenna. Collin just won that one easily, unfortunately. McKenna ended up going out in the same spot on the spin cycle. But we wish her all the best for sure. Mm-hmm. And then we had Ben versus Julius. Ben makes backyard obstacles with his dad. Very cute segment. Very talented kid. And these two were very evenly matched. Julius got turned around in the transition to the third spin cycle, and Ben ended up getting the win. But it was a really good race, and it was really close right to that point.
Yep.
Not much to say about that one for sure.
It was close. I don't know.
It was decent. It was a decent race. It really is hard to compete with the one we had before that, right? When you have that level, that Collin versus Ben race was so great, it's really hard to bring it back down a little bit. We'll save the finals for the end here, kind of like the show does. I think that's a great way to do it. We'll move on to the 11-12 bracket. In the 11-12 bracket, we had Charlie Kowalski versus Rose Lord.
Yes, there we go. One of my favorite competitors of this episode, man. Rose is awesome.
Really?
Yes, I am a big fan of Rose.
So Rose is kind of artsy. They kind of went on about her art a little bit. She pulled ahead, and Charlie made a good effort, but he couldn't quite catch up. Rose ended up taking it home.
Yeah, man. I mean, first we got to go back. Like, Rose is one of those athletes, or her storyline is kind of like, oh, I get it. Like, she's nerdy, kind of like the other nerdy kid that we were praising during the first half. I don't remember his name, but he was cool. But I really like the dynamic that we see not only a nerdy girl that's like into all these different things, but very athletic too. You can just see her, like, she's got strong shoulders, strong arms, and she's proud of that. She's proud. Like, it's one of these things where it's like, hey, this is who I am. Like me or not, I don't care. And I don't know, it's just something a way that she approaches everything. She's always smiling, so happy, but yet just so engaging at the same time. It's just like a type of like little kid where you're like, good on you, little girl. Like, I hope you do well. And it's one of those things where when she was running, I was like, she's got something. Like, I think she's going to be winning this whole episode. And in many ways, I was really enjoying just the dynamic of her just plowing through the course. She never slowed down or never hesitated.
Yeah, she was very solid. I still have my money on a girl taking home the 11-12 bracket. I think this is where they excel. They've got that extra height reach. It's such an interesting dynamic from what we normally see. And she's one of the top contenders. She did really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, I forget who it was during the first half, but there was one standout girl that really was strong. And man, when we actually have to like look back at all the athletes during like when we're going into the semifinals and everything, I'm gonna have to like rewatch some of their runs. But I remember there was some that really stood out to me.
Yeah, there's so many. Like you said, there's so many episodes. It's really hard to keep track of. But we'll get the hang of it here. We had a fast forward next of Nina Ballou versus Jackson Altman. Jackson beat Nina after she fell in the ring toss. So when it came back, we had Jackson versus Charlie. That is Jackson Altman versus Charlie Kowalski from the first one. So the boy who had lost to Rose. It was a great race. Charlie just couldn't quite keep up, though, and Jackson ended up winning it in the end. Not much to say on that one, eh?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Also, I was fast forwarding in my... Sorry, I have it on the side, like, so... Sorry, Jackson and everybody else talking about.
It's funny sometimes because you have like a really good race that's really relatively close, but there's just not a lot to say about it. It was really entertaining. I don't know what else to say. It just was a good race.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm rewatching it right now. Yeah, that was actually a really close race. It was fun, man. It comes sometimes it just comes down to who does that final kip up, like who does that last minute. I guess I forget the term because my brain's shut off, but like just goes for it.
Yeah. And after that, we had Rose, who had won the first race, versus Nina, who had lost hers. They gave a little segment on Nina. She's very, very impressive. She is a level 9 out of 10 levels gymnast. And they showed her doing some gymnastics work, which was really, really good. Her tumbling looked amazing. Yeah,
that was like level 9's no joke. Like she's really high caliber. But also when I heard all that, and I don't know, it was from seeing her like the forward of her earlier run. I have a feeling she's one of those athletes where, and I could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling her top priority is not Ninja Warrior.
Right.
And maybe she just does this on the side a little bit. And nothing wrong with that. We see Najee and far other gymnasts like Travis Rosen and everybody do phenomenal. But I just think maybe later on in her later years, she will get Ninja a little bit more.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Just from watching her struggles on the earlier run, even in the fast forward, it was like enough to see, okay, I think Nina has all the potential in the world, but like you said, maybe not quite her focus right now. We'll see.
And nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're level 9, hey, go into that, you know?
Yeah, definitely don't stop that. She was fantastic to watch doing that. Rose ended up winning it, but Nina did manage to beat the course too, and I actually really like that. It could get tiring, you would think, or you could get old. You're like, you know what? Once somebody wins, why are we watching the second person run? But that's not the case. Like it's so engaging. It's hard to put into words. Like, I was really excited for Nina to beat the course, and I was glad to see that she did.
Yeah. I was really happy. It's one of those like personal wins, right?
Yeah. It's always good to see someone do their personal best, no matter their age. So let's move on to 13-14. We'll come back for the finals at the end. We had Christian Yost versus Vance Walker. And what was this race? What?
Oh my God.
We have two of these, but my brain couldn't quite keep up to what was going on the screen. First off, Vance lives in what is probably the coolest house in America. He lives in this ninja boarding house, they called it, with all these top ninjas staying there. This crazy pool in the backyard with ninja obstacles over it, like a wingnut over the pool. I was just in awe before they even ran the course.
Could you imagine, like all over the world, like there are so many kids so jealous of this kid boy. Not only like all these probably idols of a lot of these kids like staying there, but dude, there's literally wingnuts and stuff like above the pool. Like, could you imagine the pool parties? That looks so fun.
Oh my God, it was a massive pool too.
Yeah, it was huge. But like, let's go back to the fact, like, since when has this been a thing? I was completely in the dark of the fact that there was like this amazing playhouse. Like, I mean, that's probably the wrong term, but you know what I mean? Like this crazy area where all these ninjas hang out at.
I know. Was it Ninja Quest? I think they said it's near this. This ninja family has a massive house near Ninja Quest, and I guess ninjas from around the country that come there to train will end up boarding with them. So they had all of these pictures and video of like Josh Levin making like breakfast in their kitchen, and just like this crazy randomness, like not every, but a lot of top ninjas just hanging out at the pool, bringing out cake to celebrate, Vance making the show. And when I saw that, I'm like, this Vance kid's going to be fast. You can just tell.
Yeah. Not only like the whole fun dynamic, but I really, really like that part where they showed all of the ninjas being there to celebrate this kid being on the show and making it. And I found that really, really cool. And not only that, but, I want to highlight this Vance Walker kid does have a YouTube channel, and he actually posts quite often, and he's very committed with the gym and the youth in the gym. So big shout out to him. We'll link his YouTube channel on our YouTube page, or I guess in the video. I mean, or
in the show notes,
whatever. Yeah.
So in the episode, like if you look in the description, you'll find it.
Yeah, but all around, I mean, same as you, Rich. I was fully expecting this kid to like blow out everybody, but you have to. I forget the name of the guy he was competing against, but we need to give a shout out to him because what happened in this race was absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah. As my initial reaction was for not the house and everything else, which was very, very cool. It was for the race. The race was insane. Like if you let Flip and Drew race on this course, it would look very similar. Like it was just an insane pace that they set.
Yeah, like Adam Rail and whoever else is like the fastest, like I have never seen two athletes, not even kids, but just athletes, plow through these obstacles with the sheer just abandonment of any recognition of safety. And I don't mean in a bad way, like just they were on a mission to break records, to light the whole course on fire. I mean, it was insane. And in many ways, iron sharpens iron. These two kids, like, they pulled the best out of each other.
Yeah, very, very clear. Vance ended up winning it by 0.2 of a second, both of them being under 30 seconds to complete the whole course. Like, just breaking the records all around. Just an amazing, amazing race.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And the other kid's name is Christian Youst, and
yes.
or Youst, I don't know what.
Youst, I believe.
Youst, big props to him. I mean, it was one of those things where nobody loses in this.
Yeah, I like that they had him on the sidelines as well. I like when they do that sometimes because there was no loser in that race. It was just an amazing race that could have went either way.
Yeah, they're gonna have a wild card for ANW
I
Junior,
hope
right?
so. I hope so.
If they do, Christian has to be part of it. Oh, sorry, spoilers and everything.
Yeah,
but like, man.
Yeah, crazy good. And then we cut from that, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a tough act to follow. Who do we got?
Come on, man. We knew, like, whoever was going in the second round, I'm like, you don't have a chance. I'm sorry, but you don't.
The poor kids that quit next. Yeah, Evan Wenziger versus Leo Wickert. Sorry. Evan travels the country for Ninja, from what I gathered. He was ahead, but he ended up missing the wall 3 times, which is always devastating. And Leah fell on the flying shelf grab. So if she had managed to make it through there and beat the wall, she would have taken it. But because she fell, Evan was the winner of that round. And
before the race, I was already like, Youst and Walker are going to be
right.
Facing each other again. But when seeing this, it was like, all right, let's just move on to it. Like, I don't need to see the suffering. And I think the show, if I remember correctly, was pretty respectful with that.
Yeah, I like the way they cut these segments. I mean, I feel like I don't want to be disrespectful either. These kids did their best, and we even had some personal victories in here. And I felt good for the ninjas, for those other ninjas, because they fast forwarded the Christian versus Evan race. Christian wins it, but Evan was able to beat the wall, so he had his personal victory there that he had failed 3 times on his previous attempt, but he was able to make it this time. And it's no joke. We say this like, oh, it's a kid's course. It's a 13-foot wall. If you stand in front of a 13-foot wall, you will respect the fact that this kid can get up it because it is huge.
Yeah, that's probably a story and a half.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Building size, guys.
That they're able to do this. So props to him. But Christian did take it home. And then they showed the Vance versus Leah race. Vance did win it easily, and Leah fell on the flying shelf again. But all around a great effort by her. And then we just move on to the finals.
Let's get to the finals.
Right. So let's circle back now. Going back to the 9-10 age bracket, the finals were Collin, that was the boy who trained with Drew Dreschel, versus Ben, who trains with Josh Salinas at Iron Sports, also an extremely top-level ninja and training center. So they had an amazing race the first time around. I was very anxious to see how it would go. Because what can happen? I mean, even if you discount the fact that it's a pretty close race as it is, all it takes is one slip up, right? All it takes is one bad move, which makes the sport so exciting. Mm-hmm. Ben fell on the I-beam trying to keep up with Collin. Unfortunately, Collin gets it under 30 seconds again, the fastest in this age group. Like, just an amazing race. And I like the little cutaway to Ben on the side, obviously upset by the fact that he fell, but Barclay trying to basically tell him, like, look, you were going as fast as you possibly could. Like, if you didn't, you had to put all out there. Otherwise, Collin was just going to win anyway. So you did the right thing, and you did your best. And I 1,000% agree. Ben, you did amazing, and you did everything you could to keep up, and that's just what happens.
Yeah, great job, Ben. I mean, it's one of those things where if you want to see somebody lose, you want to see them giving their all. He could have been safe or whatever, playing it safe, and he didn't. He actually went for it.
Yeah, Team Ninja Warrior, Ninja versus Ninja. You can see 100 examples of the same thing on there, and it's always the most exciting races. It's always the top ninjas just going for it when you have to, when your competitor is just that fast. All you can do is make those risky moves, do what you can to keep up, and sometimes you fall. That's okay. So that means Collin's moving on, and we'll get to see him in the finals. That will be exciting. So moving on to the 11-12 bracket, we had Jackson versus Rose. Rose being
Go Rose!
One of Bijan's favorites. And Rose got ahead and just kept the pressure on. And Jackson, also trying to keep up, fell on the flywheels. And this is how I want to see these races go. I want to see them pushing each other to the point of failure. That's awful with kids, I guess, but it's just amazing to see them doing everything they can, and they just can't quite keep up. It's such a great show of athleticism from both of them.
Yeah, and props to Rose. I mean, she really went for broke on the flywheels in particular. She really put caution to the wind, and yeah, I mean, all props to Jackson. He really tried to stay in there, but Rose, too dang good, man. Go Rose!
All right, and then in the 13-14 bracket, we had the epic battle for the finale. With a 2/10-second difference between them in the first race, we didn't know how it was going to go down. Christian versus Vance in the final, and Vance ends up bringing it home once again.
Barely.
Just barely. Those two are incredible. And Christian Youst, I can't say his name enough. As much as Vance was amazing, I want to make sure Christian gets all the recognition as well, because he put out a great race. Fantastic ninja, both of them. Just all around a fantastic run and a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear more about the story of Christian and like what happened there, because this kid's no joke. Like, this was so amazing. Not to mention, I mean, this race, this final race for everything, really had a lot of drama. At the beginning of this, I'd say the first 2 or 3 obstacles, Christian was ahead. And then at some point, I think it was the devil steps or whatever they call it, Vance gets ahead. Like he I wouldn't say gets ahead, but like makes it even. And all of a sudden they're going back and forth. And it really comes down to the flywheels, and they're pretty much even. And I don't know, man. I loved everything about this. It's literally a game of milliseconds and millimeters, you know? And they literally gave it their all. I believe this one also broke the record, if not, like, was very close. And
yeah,
man, this was top level ANW.
Yeah, this was the fastest run of the entire competition. 26.86 seconds to run that full thing.
That is insane.
Yeah. You would be hard-pressed to find.
I can't even get through one of those obstacles in that time.
You would be hard-pressed to find some of the top ninjas that could do that. Like, some of the top adult ninjas would have trouble matching that pace. Most of them, I think, would.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you have to be a very, very special type of ninja to even get close to that. I mean, literally, doing the devil steps, I don't even know if I can do that in 26 seconds. One obstacle. I'm not even playing. Like, I don't think I can do that quickly. It's absolutely amazing. Like, props to them. I cannot say that enough.
All right, so if we haven't sold it to you enough on this, it is actually available on YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, if you don't have Universal Kids, I will link the full episode, which is available online. So you can check it out for yourselves. It's a fantastic show that we can't recommend enough.
Yeah.
But that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening in. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
First of all, I gotta say, I love ththese short and sweet episodes, bro. Goes by like a breeze.
Perfect.
Yeah. But hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.